What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of BKNY Hoops. If you are new to the channel, I'm your host, as always, Rashid White. All right, sorry for being late, man. Trying to get these stories together. I see one thing that comes across my phone, and then when I go home on the computer to try to look it up, it's not there, and I gotta go on a search and destroy mission and my preparation should be much, much better. My apologies on that. All right, so you actually see the title, you see the thumbnail there, man. Brian Windhorst in an interview actually says that Cam Johnson doesn't, he thinks, I guess, there's an 80-90% probability the Brooklyn Nets are not going to trade him, and for numerous reasons. We're going to get into that. Let me get into the actual article here. I should have had this ready to go, man. My fault, guys. And hold on, Isaac showed me this shit. All right. So again, like when, hold on, 1 minute. Here we go. Wait. All right, it should have been up already. Let's see. Hold on. You gotta show proof over here, man. People say, "Hey, you making stuff up over here, man." All right, so let me show this on screen. All right, here we go. All right, let's full screen this over here so people can actually see it. And man, fucking pop up notifications here. All right, so the article initially was talking about. All right, here we go. And let me get to the part where it says Brian Windhorst and the reasons why. I briefly skimmed through this over here. So it says trade rumors has been ramping up this season. The Brooklyn Nets have been the team name that has several players that could be on the block. One of those players is Cam Johnson, who has been one of the better players on the team this season. That has a talent that many want, which is a three-point shooting. Johnson was described as one of the players in the league who could most likely be traded on the Hoop Collective podcast, and I was saying that's a huge mistake right there. And it seems like Sean Marks is probably listening to the show. And over here it says, I actually don't think he'll be traded because of how much money he's got on his contract. Brian Windhorst said Cam Johnson is making in the low 20s. That's a deal you can move. Um, Tim Bontemps said, but Johnson is currently making around 23 million a year. That's a contract that could be easily moved compared to the other players that have been in trade rumors, such as Jimmy Butler, Zach LaVine. Johnson is currently averaging 18.8 points a game, 43% shooting from the three. He fits in perfectly on what some teams need, and he wouldn't require always having the ball in his hands. That's what I do love about him. I've been saying this on numerous occasions over here, and which is why I want the Brooklyn Nets to actually keep Cam Johnson, right? Because again, you need veterans for this rebuild. You can't just get a whole bunch of um, rookies and everything, and then just develop every single player. There's only one basketball, so the key thing is 18 point something, 18.8 rough. Let's say round it off, 19 points a game, 43% from three. Doesn't players like that just doesn't come along every single day, and he's doing it without having to be so ball centric. Not having to take a lot of shot attempts. Which is actually one of the perfect role plays out there. And let's say if the Brooklyn Nets do trade him, they said the most you'll actually get is a first round pick, and we don't know. I think like six picks in the first round, right? 6 picks next year. Well, I think four first, two second. You got a 26 pick where you can currently get AJ DeBonsta, or Cameron Boozer, one of those guys. And you need veterans to actually part along with those guys, man. So Cam Johnson says that he doesn't actually want to be traded, which is actually really, really a good thing over here, man. So I want to see what you guys actually feel about that. I know some guys is just bugging out, man. They like, oh, let me see what the comment section over said. No, go back to StreamYard. All right. Next live stream. I'll try to go back to StreamYard. Well, the thing is that they actually they increase the price on it, and then you don't really get as much value, I guess, man. that this actually gives you. I just want to test this thing out fully and see, and then compare it to StreamYard. And if you are going to call into the show, I think you have to have Chrome or something like that, I believe. Um, so get on to Chrome, and I gotta go look it up, man. Um, I think it would be much easier to actually get on the show and connect easier, man. I mean, some people have been having connectivity issues. Yo, talk to me. What don't you like about this versus StreamYard, man? So just let me know. So it also says that Jody Fernandez. I mean, a lot of the players are actually kind of respecting Jody Fernandez, right? Cam Johnson loves him. He's bringing out the best in him, and I know he had a crappy year. He had an up and down season last year, but again, that was due to injuries. And listen, lower extremity injuries like hamstrings, ankles, and things like that. I mean, that's going to hinder you, man. It is. And I also said, like, you got to give these players, and I'm not saying Cam Johnson is some Jason Tatum or anything like that, but for the most part, you got to give these guys until they're like 27, 28 years old. That's when things normally start to click when you actually look at, like, NBA players historically, man. So I mean, he's a guy. I mean, he's doing everything I wanted him to do last year. I made videos of Cam Johnson last season. He was taking a lot of contested 3-point shots. Um, was not putting the ball on the floor as much. And he would, like, dribble a couple of times. It didn't seem like he had the confidence, but it seems like Jody Fernandez actually has the confidence in him. All right, let me get the link in here. Let me see if you guys want to come in and chime in on the show. Let me see what Talk to Me says. It's more people that can join StreamYard. This is limited. No, 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 no. This is about 10 people. This is about the same thing. The same thing as StreamYard, man. The same thing. I will contact them and see what's going on with people not being able to connect. Some people can connect. Some people, but I'm gonna see what's going on with that. And if they can't resolve it, yeah, listen, we're going back to StreamYard though, man. Um, and some people do like the new look, man. Some people do like the new setup, So it's just it's been 50-50 over here, man. All right, so this was something. Oh, and I also did a video on um Denver looking at Cam Thomas, but that initial trade was, you know, it was Cam Thomas, DFS, who else? Yeah, and Cam Johnson for Michael Porter Jr., right? So let me see if I can actually find that, because I was looking at one article and they gave me that one player who only averages like 5 minutes a game, and he has some upside, but I don't know. These guys got to actually really kind of work on their game, and you got to sacrifice, man. You got to be in the gym, 10, 11 hours a day, man, especially when you have the potential to make, millions and millions of dollars, man. So let me see. So there was more on Cam. Hold on, where was it? Right here. Oh yeah. So this is from all right. So this is from oh, SI, was it SI, something like that? So it talks about Cam Johnson a little bit over here, and this is one Mike Scotto from Hoops Hype talking about trade possibilities around the league, including Brooklyn and big names who could be dealt. So let's get into the Brooklyn portion of this right here. Oops, hold on. Hey man, this thing's
play the four. He's a piece that teams around the league are monitoring as well. So those are some big names that I would look at on the trade market, Megan, for sure.
Oh man, that's a lot. But we are also at a Brooklyn Nets game, and I'm going to have to ask you about our team right here at Barclays, because when it comes to the Nets, they are all bought in on Jordy Fernandez and his culture. We've seen this team fight and win some really, really tough games. What do you see the Nets doing during this time?
Well, the Nets are an intriguing team, I think, around the league. First and foremost, Cam Johnson's playing the best basketball of his career, scoring and shooting the ball. He's a guy that when I've talked with the executives around the league, they think he can command at least a first-round pick. So with the way Cam is playing, I talked to him about that because he's been the subject of trade rumors for a while. And I asked him if he had a choice, what would he want? He said he'd want to stay here to build this and get this team on track. And he loves Jordy Fernandez as a coach. You touched on it as well. He's gotten the best out of him. Another player he's gotten the best out of is Dennis Schroeder. For Dennis, this is a guy that's in an expiring contract, around 13 million or so. It's a very tradable contract, and teams around the league have valued him at a couple second-round picks. I think if you're a playoff caliber team, you're certainly going to look for him to possibly fortify the rotation. Last but not least, Dorian Finney-Smith. He's been great for the Nets in plus minus if you're an analytics person and into those stats. A 3-and-D guy that can fit, honestly, on any team around the league. Really good locker room guy, as you know, as well. So those are the three main guys. I guess last but not least, you could say Daron Sharp as well as a backup center. Certainly teams around the league are looking for younger, cheaper options. He's on their radar as well. So the Nets have a lot of pieces that teams are looking at, and I think it's going to be interesting over the next month or two leading up to the deadline made for Brooklyn.
All right, so the problem is that, like, especially for, like, let's say Dennis Schroeder, DFS, right? I don't know about Dayron. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of Dayron, really. I mean, he has gotten better, but we need to actually see a larger sample size, right? Bigger sample size, like 25 minutes, and see what he can actually do there. I mean, he's been injured. I mean, the 3 point shot he took, it looked good. If he can actually work on that, I mean, I think that's what the league, like a lot of teams really need is that stretch five, right? That can space the floor out. But I don't know, Dennis Schroeder. I don't know about 2 first round picks for him. I mean, he's on an expiring contract, right? So there's no guarantee that one, he's actually going to re-sign with your team. Um, Two, we never seen Dennis Schroeder actually really play like this. He only plays like this when it comes to like contracts, right? And this is what happened to him last year. He wasn't playing like this. And funny, he's up for a contract now. All of a sudden, that he's playing out of his mind. And who was the other one that he actually mentioned? Cam Johnson. I mean, the best you can do is actually get a 1st round pick for him. I'd rather keep him. He is signed through, I think, 2027. So I'm surprised that they can't really kind of get more for him. But I think with Cam Johnson is that you probably just want to see a larger sample size and see if we can do this, let's say, 60 something games, and that will put him to the equivalent, let's say, of a B player, right? Not Jason Tatum or anything like that, but like, all right, let's see. You got, yo, what's going on, man? All right, so he was connected, and then he got kicked off. So I don't know what happened. Hey, if that was you, W, try to get back in here. That wasn't me that did that, man. um, so, and the thing about Jordy Fernandez, right? Are these guys playing for him, or are they actually playing for a contract? So we got to see if Jordy Fernandez. Yo, Jonathan, what's going on, man? And says Cam Johnson is the best role player available right now, and a team can give Brooklyn a decent haul for him. Marks would be foolish to not to trade him. Yeah, but you're only going to get a 1st round pick, man. I don't know, man. I mean, I think Cam Johnson, we could say, is he better than Mikal Bridges, right? I think Mikal Bridges was actually getting 2 1st round picks, and we seen Mikal Bridges. He wasn't the Phoenix Mikal Bridges. He wasn't guarding. That was one of the key things about Mikal, that he was actually really a 3-and-D guy. I watched a lot of those Phoenix highlights and Phoenix games of Mikal Bridges really guards, blocking shots, disrupting passing lanes, and I think Cam Johnson gives you a little bit more, right? He can, he's a better finisher than I never seen Mikal Bridges dunk on no Joel Embiid, and I think he dunked on Julius Randle or something, one of those Knicks players when he was with Phoenix. So the ability to actually, explode through contact. He's bigger. He's physical. I think his shooting is much better than Mikal Bridges, right? And we saw him play with his back to the basket a little bit. I definitely want to see more of that. They can get him on some switches and get him on to like smaller guards. smaller guards right there. Yeah, he could play with his back to the basket. I like his size. His ball handling seems to get it seems to be getting better. So and you could put him at that four position. I know he can't guard fours, but there's always a but there, right? Big guys like Zion and they don't want to play the perimeter. I mean, so if he's shooting 43% from 3 point line, I mean, you can argue there's times you're gonna have to go small really to actually match him, right? To try to get quicker guys to kind of run them off the 3 point line. So the thing is, if you have a big guy, let's say Zion, who's some other slow power forwards, man, I could think of, man. Um, let's do Zion as an example. They can get Joel Embiid, get switched on to him. He could put the ball on the floor, right? And hold on, let's see what's Jonathan is saying over here. And Dennis Schroeder, Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson are still on the team after February 6th. He shouldn't be a GM. Yeah, well, that's the thing, though, man. Jonathan is actually if the thing is if there's so many teams tanking right now, right? Does it make sense to actually trade the veterans and you still might be able to get the 1 to 3 pick, and now your team is just like totally trash, and now you're like the Washington Wizards, and also you got the cap space now. You got the cap space next season, um, for 25. 25 is trash, man. I mean, there's a bunch of good role players, but there's not a lot of game changers on there. So 25 is actually trash, but 26 actually really looks good. So if you keep these role players on this team, right, that looks better, right, to a top like a marquee free agent than you tearing the whole team down with a bunch of Keon Johnson type players, man. So like you could look at the Brooklyn Nets now and say, like, damn, okay. If I can go here, let's say Shea wants to be in a bit better, not must say not better situation, but let's say a bigger market. Shea Gills Alexander, he can actually probably win with this team. He doesn't have to do all the work and carrying or anything like that, man. Um, who's in the, let me see who's in the 2026 free agency here. Let's see, 2026 NBA free agency. I know there were some big names over there. Like I think Nas Reed was one of them. Um, let's see. Why this came up? Oh, I don't know why that came up. Hold on. 26. Oh, okay, I see what's going on here. All right, hold on. Let's look at the free agents for 2026. Yeah, and I know. Who's there? Yo, what's going on, Dick? How you doing, man? Can you hear me? All right, let's see here. All right, yeah, we're gonna go back to StreamYard, man, because people are actually having some connectivity issues here, man. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna do a live tomorrow night, man. So W and Dick, yeah, I can try to get on. I'm gonna try to go back to StreamYard because all right, so let's see the 2026 free agents over here. De'Aaron Fox, Marcus Smart says shooting guards, small forwards. The bigger, the more athletic, the more skilled, the better, man. And power forwards, Kevin Durant. Um, Weird. I thought this free agency list was actually better than this. Damn. So I don't know what everybody's talking about with the cap space. It's not really any type of maybe the Aaron Fox. Marcus Smart is a good role player. He's a good like a guy on a that can give you 15, 20 good minutes. AJ Green, Kevin Herter, Anthony Simons. None of these guys move me. All these guys are role players. Anthony Simons, you already got Cam Thomas. Hopefully, who's actually still on the roster. He's involved in a lot of trade rumors. Power forwards. Wait a minute, these are not the top guys though, right? I seen a better list than this though, man. I seen a better list than this. All right, let's see. I think it was on this one. All right, here we go. Yeah, those are like a lot of the role players. So Dame, LeBron James, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Zach Levine. I mean, he's 31 years old. Damn, I mean, damn, that's crazy. The time goes by quick. Shea Gildas Alexander, De'Aaron Fox, Porzingis could become. I mean, it depends on how Boston. If you know, I mean, if we can get him and just like kind of stash him for the playoffs, then that's a long shot right there. Hartenstein could be available. You know, there's just better free agents, man. Let's see. CJ should get us 2 first rounds. Yeah, but the market they're actually saying though, Anthony, is just like 1 first round pick. That's what GMs. I mean, it's a tug of war right now, right? It's a tug of war. Um, Sean Marks is actually trying to get the most value back, right? And teams are trying to take advantage of Sean Marks. So we'll see when it gets. It may go down to the trade deadline. If most teams right now, since it's so early, they're saying we ain't gonna offer you that much for these players. But if as the season actually goes on, then they might say, hey, they might get desperate. So it's really more like a tug of war right now. So any of you guys, yeah, I know I miss those days too, Dawabi. Lakers gonna pay up. Who gonna pay up for who though, man? Who they going? I don't know. They don't got much to offer, man. I don't really like a lot of their players. I mean, there's a whole bunch of D'Angelo Russell things in there. I don't care if he's an expiring contract or not. I don't like him. Nope, nope, nope. No D'Lo. And I mean, I was once a D'Angelo fan. I love D'Angelo Russell, but it's just the league has changed now, man. You got long, athletic guys, right? That are skilled. Um, and it's just he doesn't match up with a lot of players around it. I mean, it's just a mismatch. You actually have to you have to send help on every time they target him, and that leaves these 3-point shooters wide open. Um, so let's see. I mean, Nas Reed is definitely a target. So that's the thing, man. I mean, you guys in the comment sections, do they actually trade the veterans right now? And as they're saying that they're not, you don't get the 1 through 3 pick, then you're going to tear the team down, and you're going to be the Wizards. You're going to be the Portland Trailblazers. You're going to be the actual Detroit Pistons, right? And they actually have a chance to at least turn this thing around. Right now, they're at least in the 8th seed. So, like, that looks attractive for a lot of these players right here, man. Rather than just going to like a Washington Wizards or something like that, man. None of these guys, especially the veterans, they don't want to be like having to carry, you know, the whole burden by themselves, or. But right now, you see what the Nets are actually doing. They're winning a lot of games, and they are without really a major star or anything like that. So Jonathan, you got to look at it, and you know, from a three-dimensional aspect. And he says, hey, Jonathan is saying, um, yo, Jonathan, see if you can actually get through on the link over here, man, and see if it allows you to actually get through. Yeah, let me see what's going on here, man. Because some people are actually getting through, and some people are not. So there's no Harlem. Harlem actually tried to get on here, man, but this won't work for him. Or this won't work for him. Um, it says the Lakers. He says the only player I want to trade them to is Claxton because they need a center on defense, and they can get some expiring salary and maybe. I don't know if the Lakers would want to, I don't know. If I'm Rob Palinka, Claxton, I mean, like, does that get you past Denver, right? Does that get you past, who's the top teams in the actual West right now? Let me see. You got to really kind of look at this over here. Yeah, they need a center, but, like, I'd rather them get like Valanciunas, right, or something like that. Somebody that can actually match up to Jokic. Uh, you let me see. What's the season? NBA standings 2024. And so if you're the Lakers situation, all right, Claxton is not getting you past Memphis, OKC. Yeah, yeah, I hear you loud and clear, man. What's good? Can you hear me?
Okay, knock on wood. Yeah, I could hear
Uh,
you.
all right, man. What's good, man?
Just relaxing, man. It's good to have a little break this week from basketball stuff. Feels like we've been covering so much already, so it's good to have a little rest in between. And December 15th is this Sunday, so I'm definitely gonna get together with some people to talk about that. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. And it's good to get into this a little bit now on where the players could be. I heard what Wendy said that Johnson's contract might make it tough to trade him, but the way he's playing, I think a team will budge to give a decent offer for Johnson because his numbers are not going to get this much better. So a team will take advantage, I believe, if he keeps this up.
Yeah, I mean, he's not ball centric. Like he doesn't really need the basketball in his hands to really kind of be effective. He can score two, three dribbles, right? I mean, that's what you're kind of looking for in a role player right there, man. I don't know, man, but so all right, what did you actually think about what I said, man? So if you trade all these guys away, and you still don't get the 1 through 3 pick, right? I mean, you're the Portland Trailblazers. You're the actual
Uh,
Detroit Pistons. You're the,
well,
the Detroit Pistons. You're the Washington Wizards.
I don't think we'll be that bad because we have more assets than both those teams combined right now. So I don't think we'll be that horrible. But I'll tell you this: if the worst case scenario happens, which only Sean Marks has himself to blame, if it happens, you still have the 2026 draft. So if we get certain picks that aren't like game changing, but they're building blocks, you aim for 2026, hoping to cash in on that one. So we have options here. But I think the second and third pick, Harper Aces well within our price range as long as we make these trades like you have to. If Sean Marks keeps these vets past February 6th, it's going to look like such a moronic move on his part because these vets are actually playing really well. The values have gone up. You got to look at the collective we could get these vets. Now we could get separately. What is the collective you can get? I bet you it's going to be slightly more than what anybody thought you could get for the three of them this season. So if Marks doesn't cash in for some type of gold, it's a failure. I really think it is, and that could hinder our draft capital as well with the value. So you have to make the move soon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, but you don't think? I mean, it's not a guarantee. If you can get a 1 through 3 pick, right? I mean,
Hmm.
yes, do it. But I mean, the probability is so low now. I think Sean Marks probably screwed it up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's not a fortune teller. I mean, you don't know. I mean, I don't know if he knew the Nets was actually going to be playing this well. I don't know. What do you think, man?
Well, there was an article that came out a few weeks ago where it said, "Oh, the Brooklyn Nets were actually shocked at how competent this current iteration of the team was," and a lot of the credit goes to Jordy, just the way he's got everybody gelling.
Yeah,
He's got the
John
young
Wall.
guys. He's got the young guys born into the system. The vets respect Jordy. Jordy respects them, and I feel like that has allowed this coalition to come together. But that's just it.
There you go. All right. Repeat what you
It's a
said because you froze up.
hear me now? Yeah, it's basically Jordy's done a phenomenal job getting all these pieces together to work. I mean, he's literally turned nothing pieces into valuable pieces, and that's just great for him. But now it's like you got to utilize the values that Jordy's helped these vets get to and cash them in because these guys are not long term fixtures. Dennis Schroeder's not a long term fixture. Johnson's not, and Doe especially. I thought Doe would have been traded a week ago when he wasn't playing for a week and a half. And when I saw him play the other day, I'm like, okay, why didn't you trade him? It's like you keep playing these vets and you're kind of ruining the young guys' ability to develop this season because this is also part developmental this season, not just the vets are going to be, trying to win you
Uh,
games here or there.
Jonathan, they got to develop in the offseason, man. I mean, I've been playing basketball for 31 years, dude. I mean, you don't develop in a game. You got to work on your game
Actually,
outside of the game.
you can develop on a rebuilding team if you get them in. Look what Martin and Derek did in their solo games they had. They showed you something. It's not perfect. It needs a lot of work, but when they get the
Exactly.
minutes,
I
they're
mean,
making them
you
count.
gotta do it in the off season, right? To actually, I mean, I can't go on the court and not have a left hand and say, hey, I'm just gonna try to work on my left hand. I'm gonna be
Uh,
getting stripped left and right, man. I have to go and develop that left hand, right? And then bring it to a game and be effective and be efficient at it, man. You can't say, I mean, these guys in the orbs, Keon Johnson, he has to watch a lot of film, right? He has to study the
mhm.
game of basketball. It's not just about, I mean, basketball is played from the neck up, really. I mean, the skills come along with that too, but I mean, it's played from the neck up,
No,
and that's something that Keon Johnson has to do. I mean, he can play all the games he wants. If he has a low basketball IQ, I mean, he's not going. It doesn't mean anything.
right, but like you see what Keon can give you, he's a scrappy defender. Offensively, doesn't give you much. I know everybody was kind of again upset with him when he made that egregious three at the end of the game when he could have just went for the two. But Keon has showed that he could be a floater guy for this team. You need me to do a certain role, he'll do it to the best of his ability. And Jordy likes that. I mean, Jordy's the one playing these guys because he believes in them and he cares about player development. That's why I'm fine with getting these vets off as soon as possible because you want these young guys to develop for the last 20, 30 games of the season before it's
It's
over
not.
and see what
You
they
know
can
how
do.
hard it is, Jonathan, man. Yo,
But BK, we're in an
you got to do
evaluation
it in the off
season.
season, man.
Yeah,
You
but
can't
BK,
develop in the game.
I know, but BK, we're in evaluation season, right? These vets, you kind of already know that where they're going to go, which is the other teams, which is the best outcomes. You want to get a top pick. These guys who have 1 year deals trying to fight for something, you can't really see them get evaluated when they're playing like less than 18 minutes a game on certain
Jonathan,
nights.
in
That
order for
that's
you to
because
get in order for you to get like Shangoon type skills, like Shangoon's been doing that for a lifetime. You can't tell me like Dayron Sharp in 18 or 30 something games is going to become Shangoon. It doesn't
not
work
did
that
I
way.
say that? I never said Sengun. Just like AP and me are
No,
both
no.
saying,
When
you
you
have to
say
play a lot of
develop,
games
I
to
mean,
get better.
when you say develop, I mean expand on that. Like, what do you
Develop consistency. Get actual minutes, not off-season minutes,
if
not
you
summer
don't have
league,
the
not D
skills,
League.
Jonathan?
Actual minutes.
What does
BK,
that
that
mean?
don't matter. Listen, you don't have to
That
have
means
perfect
nothing if
skills
you don't have the
this season.
skills.
This season's not about being perfect. It's about failing. It's about going through adversity. It's building your own stock up.
No,
Some
no,
of
no.
these guys
It's
are trying to
about
build
them
something
in
for
the off
themselves.
season going to get work on their games and work on their basketball
But
IQ.
BK, you have to actually show it in the real games, not just
No, you gotta show
off-season.
it in practice, and then you take it to the real games.
BK, this is another reason why the vets got to go. I mean, I don't want to bring up Simmons again, but you saw what he did the other night against the Bucks.
I'm
He did
not man.
absolutely nothing on the
He
court.
never does well against Milwaukee. Giannis
Nah,
is
come
one of
on.
the
But
easiest
he
players
did
to
nothing.
guard.
But BK, here's the thing: you could have put Martin or Derek in Ben Simmons' minutes, and they probably would have given you more production
No,
than
they're
what Simmons
not.
gave you on the court. They would give you more offense than Simmons. Simmons
All
gave you
right,
nothing the other night.
all right. Can Martin ever be an all star in this league?
Who?
Martin, can he ever be an all star in this league?
Of course not, because I don't know his
Right,
full
right.
potential yet. But he's trying to earn something on this team, and he did have that one good game where he's trying to build something for himself. But then what happened? He got benched right afterwards because the vets are playing 20, 25 minutes a night. So how can these guys actually develop if the vets are taking up all these minutes and wasting their own values right now on this team? Because they're not going to get any higher than this. So this is the time to trade them and let the young guys develop this season. This is supposed to be a season where you go through adversity and you get better. This team will still be
Nah,
competitive on
nah.
certain
We gotta
nights.
get better players, man. Ain't no helping
BK,
around
it's not
this.
going to happen overnight. This is the one thing you got to say. It's not going to happen overnight. It's
I'm
a
trying to waste like
process.
7, 8 years watching a team
It's
lose
not going to
over
be
and over.
8 or 9
It was
years, BK.
hopeless.
We have so many assets to work with right now.
How long have we been waiting for Zion Williamson to lose weight? All he gotta do is lose weight, and he'll be good, right? How long have we been waiting for that?
How long are we waiting for Simmons to
How
develop an
long have we
offensive
been waiting for
game?
Ben
Eight
Simmons to put
years.
up a jump shot? How long we been waiting for Claxton to actually get stronger, right? So he can have more of be more physically imposing. How long? You know what I'm saying? You got to go and actually get
You're
players,
you're
man.
funny, Floyd, but might get cut on this one. I'm cooking. No, but BK, I understand what you're saying. We need guys that know how to get it quick. They're not going to be going through those growing periods or those stunt moments. But unfortunately, we don't get to see what these young guys can do on a consistent basis because the vets are playing 30, 35 minutes a
Nobody
night. And I
can
feel like,
do,
and
man. It
BK,
really
the vets have done their jobs this season. They've won 10 games. Whoop-de-doo. They got their values up. Now it's like the second half of the season. Business time. You make the decisions. You get the vets on the team and let these young guys develop for the rest of the way. Even if they're playing not playing as well, it's about development. And Jordy has shown this season he cares about that. He actually wants these guys to make mistakes and get better. He doesn't want them to be perfect on the court, but he does expect a standard on the court that you're going to play as hard as you can with the minutes I give you. And I think that's a great message. So these young guys are going to
I'd
enjoy
rather,
that
I'd
and
rather,
grow from it.
develop something like a Kaman, right? You get him at the number 13 for 14 pick. I'd rather try to develop him. Somebody that has real like upside, right? 7 foot, 235 pounds, already has a lot of skill already, right? Not guys that are really raw, man. You don't. Oh gosh, you don't get how good you have to actually be, man, to really kind of be.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
you get.
BK, this is a big reason why the vets got to go because if they keep trying to get these wins, you're not even gonna have a crack at a Kaman or a Trey Johnson. These are guys after the Harpers and the Aces and the Coopers. Like if we do slightly even more better than we're doing right now, it kind of affects where you are in the draft. Do you really want to be drawn from 20 again with your own lottery pick? I don't. I'd rather just have a crack at the top five, get a building block, get some more building blocks, and bring it all together with Coach Jordy and these young guys that stay after the season. Not all of them are going to stay, but there's one or two like a Clowney and Wilson that are earning their minutes.
I remember
Thomas,
you have a
obviously, his
strong.
contract's going to get situated. So
It's
there are some pieces here to this puzzle. We're trying to find those pieces though, BK. There's a lot more to go, but you have to let these guys try and develop though. And it just feels like the vets are kind of ruining that right now for them.
I mean,
And
uh,
here's another thing with Dayron and Clowney now coming back and Simmons playing off the bench. One of those three guys are going to have to play lesser minutes. I don't think you're going to play Simmons, Dayron, and Clowney on the court together. That's pretty bad. I don't think you could do that. You might have to sit one guy for like an extra 10 minutes, and the other two have to get minutes. I'd rather Simmons go home, let Dayron and Clowney play those minutes because they're younger. They have better trajectories on their futures than Simmons does right now. Simmons
what?
can only give you half and half right now, and it's not good. I feel like he's just holding a roster
I
spot
think
right now.
Simmons half is just better than anything Dayron can ever. He'll. Yo, all right. I'm sorry, man. Yo, Jonathan,
No,
we gotta get better players, man. All right.
no, I understand. I saw what Ribby put. Ribby's just trolling because his team just barely beat the Raptors tonight. I saw that game, man. Ooh, if you're happy about that performance, man, Wednesday with Trey Young, ooh, it's getting chilly up in here. But now I understand, BK. We do have a trajectory to get better players. We have a chance to get a lottery pick this year in the top three, or at worst, a top six. So, like, you have to capitalize on that, though, and it starts with getting vets off this team so your record can even out the way it's supposed to. That was the goal this season. And I feel like some people feel like us being super competitive because we've been more than just competitive so far
I
this
don't
season.
know, man. All right, so you got how many teams here that's going to be competing for the one, two, three, four, five, six, seven? Let's look at the bottom half of the Western Conference over here. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 teams competing really. I'm surprised Minnesota is this far back. Um,
Kings, that's a team to look out for with Fox in this situation. No, I don't think everybody expect them to be that horrible, but they went for DeMar DeRozan and that backfired. And the
yeah,
Suns, I'm telling you, the Suns. Do you see what? Do you know what their percentage is without KD? With him, it's 80%. Without him this season, they're at
oh, that's why
10%.
big threes don't
Woo!
work, man. I mean, especially
What
on that.
happened to Devin Booker? I know a lot of people are talking high about Devin Booker. What happened to him this season, man? He has really gone down from where he was a few years ago. That's shocking to see right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a veteran team. It's early. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, they're gonna go. It's a marathon when it comes to the NBA. We'll see how things turn around. But you got like a lot of teams really kind of going like competing for this draft over here, man. So my
Right.
thing is that the Nets pulled the plug, and you still wind up getting the 10th pick. Anyway, what's the whole point?
Well, here's the thing, though. I think the Nets are going to go for both these drafts. I don't think we're doing anything crazy next summer. We have a lot of cap space. It's going to get situated with some guys we keep, some guys of free agency that don't have a place to go. We're going to situate all that money because think about it. Ingram, he hurt himself. He's not worth a max salary contract. We're not giving him that. Jimmy Butler, that was already debunked. He's not coming to us, thank gosh. And then Julius Randle, we have no connection to him, nothing to do with him. So there's no top free agents, like you said. It's super bad next year. So we're going to situate the money and aim for the following draft as well. Like we have to cash on both these drafts And then after that, you can go for a star or something like that if you feel like that accelerates the timeline. But these first 2 years are very important for us. We need to hit big on these drafts. We need to construct the team, the core. You have the coach, right? You finally got the coach. Now it's about how the pieces could all run together and be a complete unit because you have to do this rebuild right, like Jay Kron is saying. Like, this can't just be a one and done as quick as possible rebuild because there could be so many errors with doing that again. And these 2 years kind of give you a decent timeline to situate and, build this up the right way. And I think we're in a good position right now, unless Sean Marks wants to destroy it again with his foolish decision making skills. Facts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a gamble, man. And in one sense, I can understand what Sean Marks is actually doing, and because it's not like it's a couple. I mean, there's a lot of teams going for that 1 and 3 pick, man. I mean, this is like almost equivalent to going to the slot machine right there, right? And trying to win, win big on slots. I mean, the percentages are so low, and all the mock drafts. I mean, have the Nets really kind of picking at 13, 14, 15, man. So
That's because we're currently in the eighth seed, but there's a few teams right on our tail. So if we drop out of that and out of the play, and then that should situate and get regular again, being around lottery. It's not right now because of the record, but that could all change very quickly. But looking at these mock drafts I've seen lately, it's pretty despicable because you have your own lottery pick and you really want to draw at 15 or 16. Any GM in our position would want to get top three no matter what, no matter what. And if Sean Marks don't understand that and cares about culture and good vibes, that's not what a GM is supposed to do if you actually care about constructing a future.
well, culture is actually important, right? But you can't turn down like a high end talent because of culture.
Right. Is a culture worth not going after an AJ DeBonsa? Because I know your answer on that. Is that worth not going after a Cooper, Ace, or Harper? Of course not. Like, listen, Jordy's doing the culture stuff. There's a program. There's a structure. There's stuff being built here, but you need the main pieces, and we don't have those right now. We have guys that are mostly role player esque pieces. Some are going to fit on this team, some aren't, and are just going to go move on. So we have to start building those main pieces, and it starts with this draft. And if Sean Marks doesn't understand that by now, I don't know what he's thinking. But if you trade these vets off, I think our draft odds will even out like they're supposed to.
I don't know about that, man. I mean, a lot of these teams are trying to tank too, man. I mean, I don't know if Philadelphia kind of gets it together.
They're
Um,
starting to get it together a bit. I just hope Embiid could play the rest of the way, and these other guys just
that's a
start playing
gamble right
basketball. They
there,
should not be in the lottery. Let them be in the play-in. If all the Philly can do this year is play-in, that's good. That improves our draft odds. But like, I don't
man.
want them at the bottom of this
I
right
mean,
now.
making the play in doesn't mean you make the playoffs, though. It's still 8 teams, and the rest are going into the lottery, right?
Right. Well, Raptors are a team to worry about with the Wizards. They just lost Scotty Barnes tonight to a nasty ankle injury. He's going to be down for a while. They only have R.J. Barrett really playing, so they're a team that obviously they said this season they were going to tank it a certain way. So they're a team that you don't want a Cooper, Ace, or Harper to go to because you pair that with a Scotty Barnes, R.J. Barrett. There's your young pieces. You already have young pieces on the team already, so they would be ahead of us if they got one of those top picks. So we don't want that. We got to be ahead of them eventually. So that's a team you don't want to hope one of these guys go to. And honestly, if Cooper has to go anywhere, I'd rather him go to the West because the West is so freaking tough. Like, Cooper would have a way harder time in the West than he would in the East. So if Cooper goes to the West, I'm content with that. If we get Asa Harper in the East, we're good. So, but it starts with making the right moves, and Marks has to wake up. I hope he's waking up after
Wait,
next
1 second.
weekend.
Hold on, Jonathan. AP, how am I wrong about Trey Young? 1, 2, and then King Ribby told you, Jonathan. He says, seems like your coach doesn't like the tank mode. He says, hush up and watch the process.
Okay, then why did Keon Johnson shoot that three? Everybody's like, why did Keon do that three? Because Jordy probably told him, shoot the three if you have the opportunity to do it. So I think Jordy understands a bit of what the process is. He just doesn't want to admit it. He doesn't want to do it. But at a certain point, he has put in questionable rotations. I know some of you guys have noticed. He's had certain rotations where Claxton isn't in there. It's a smaller looking lineup. That's, I think, by design in some ways. So I know Jordy's doing his best to not tank, but there's certain aspects where I think he's doing it, but he has a great poker face right now about it. But yeah, he doesn't
No, I
want to
mean,
tank, but
you
you
like
got to get the pieces off this team in order for it to happen the right way.
you and Harlem actually have a point, man. I mean, there's advantages. I get why Harlem wants to kind of win, and I get why you actually want to tank, man. I mean, both you guys. I mean, Harlem in the comments is over here, but both you guys are right, but then both of you guys can actually be wrong too, right? So
No, there's only one
Harlem,
direction.
Harlem,
Winning
Harlem
this season doesn't do anything for you, though. It really doesn't, especially with your own picks. Listen, if we didn't have our own picks and this was like 2017, of course you'd have to win to get a playing spot because that'd be the way to build credibility with your team. But now you actually have your own picks for the first time in Sean Mark's history, and that could get you a
well, hold on.
potential
This
difference maker
is
in the
this
lottery.
is a deep draft, though, right? This is a really really deep draft. So I mean, does it matter really? Like number 8, 9, 10. I mean, you're still gonna get something.
Yeah, but BK, the goal is to get a top three this year, especially when the chips actually fell in our lap the way they did after the big three debacle. Like, we're in such a fortunate position. If you don't do anything with your power within this fortunate position to get a top pick, you weren't trying hard enough. And that's on Sean Marks and the organization if they're content. If they say, oh, the culture of this team was so good this year, but we're drawn from 25 because I have a good record with that. No, that's a failure on your part because you could actually done something spectacular and you went for I'm going to do what I always do. Stop doing what you always trying to do. Do something new. And getting a top pick, it changes the trajectory of a team. It makes you have a cornerstone that you can rely on and build upon. Like Jordy's shown, he could turn
Well, wait,
anything into a
what about
decent
that?
asset right now.
What about that player we were looking at the other day, Sanjay, from France, from from France. And
Who?
Sanjay,
You talking about Noah?
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not Liz. I know I know
Anna Zakul. They got Shangoon at 15 too.
Yeah, I know Pod wanted to sell us with the Giannis thing. Not many people could be Giannis. I think people take what a Giannis prototype is for granted, just given what he does. I know some people were calling him out saying, oh, he's not a superstar like he was a few years ago. He's still dropping 40, 50 points a game. He's not on the team. The Bucks are they're not doing anything right now. So, there's not many Giannis's. And unless Noah's, gains like 40 pounds of muscle overnight, I don't see
I
it.
mean, if he has the work ethic and the drive, I mean, Giannis is really mainly like work. I mean, he's no. I watched him when he first got into the NBA. I mean, he's doing what Giannis actually do. He still can handle the basketball, right? Pushes the ball, doing the same thing. It's just like you said, he's strong. So I mean, and he's committed. Giannis, I think to a degree. I mean, he can work on that shooting.
Yeah, but I really like the Derek Queen kid. He's doing really well. I mean, offensively, the rebounding, he's been so consistent lately. Like, if the Nets were able to pair some of those late picks to move as down as they can, well, up as they can, to have a shot at Derek Queen, he's a good centerpiece for you in the future. I know he's only 6'10", but this guy has some scoring chops for a big, and he could shoot the mid range shot. I saw some of his highlight tape. He could shoot the mid range shot. BK goes to the rim. He can make layups. He also can make some passes too. Like,
Wait,
this
who's
is
that?
Derek Queen. He's pretty good.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, 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 okay.
Like, if we do consider trading Claxton, using those draft trips to get Derek Queen would be a great win-win scenario.
You
You
see what
get
I'm saying? He's actually at number 20.
who, Derek Queen?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if we can move some of those picks was we have some picks in the 20. If we can move down to 18 or 19 with those picks, you could get them.
No, I'm
It
saying
could be
like if
good.
the Nets actually do compete. I mean, right now the Nets are like missing like a big man. If they can get Kaman or McQueen, I gotta look at McQueen's game though, man. I mean, if he's not Shangoon, then I'm like, you know what? Nah.
Nah, I'm not going to call him a Sengun or Nikola Joker, but the offensive skills he's got, I think they're way more developed than Kaman is. I think Kaman is more traditional rebounder, a solid big that you can mold into something great. But it seems Derek's already got the scoring already, and he hasn't even hit his ceiling yet. So if we get
But
Queen as a
is he
center option,
Shangoon?
I I can't say right now until he shows us something if we draft him. I have to see like a season what he can do really, but so far he's showing you he's got scoring chops. He's not afraid to score,
No, I'm
for a
saying, I mean,
big.
does he have footwork and
Yes.
did you watch him play yet or what?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of his highlight tape stuff so far. He's looking pretty good. He's been very consistent. I think he's scoring over 18, 19 points, 10, 12 rebounds a game, and he's throwing some assist passes too. So he's already showing some versatility, which I like. So he could be the center steal of the draft. Everybody's looking at Kaman, but I think you got to look at Derek Queen too. And if the Nets had a chance to draft him in that 20, echelon selection, we can make something happen there. I think.
And we'll see. I mean, because like I said, college, G League, pros, right? NBA.
Mhm.
The difference between the NBA and college and G League is length. That's the thing. I mean, like Derek McQueen, really, we gotta see if he can actually handle NBA length. You know,
Right.
and then you got Kaman that already has that already. I mean, it depends though, man. I mean, if McQueen comes here, yeah, McQueen, right? McQueen, yeah. If he comes here, I mean, yeah, maybe he can give us some scoring, man. Because Claxton, what do you think about that game that Claxton actually had the other night, man? Against Milwaukee, man. He took he surveyed the floor, right? He wasn't rushing on, he's trying to read the defense. What do you actually think? Yeah, Jonathan, you there? All right, Jonathan actually jumped off and everything. I don't know. He's still here, but I think he froze up. Let's see. Oh yeah, I forgot about Rocco Gerard. Yeah, yeah. I forgot about. He says, "Nah, get that sense of with picks. Rocco, Zagarsky, the Twins, Broom, maybe good senses was trading up for Queens. I'm gonna do probably one of the live streams this week. We'll do like a film study on McQueen and see if he's actually really worth it. I want to compare him to other players in the actual league, right? If McQueen is like Shangoon, because Shangoon was like number 13, 14. I mean, and I think the only thing that held him back was his size. I think he was a center at 240 pounds. Really, that was one of the main concerns with Shangoon. But we'll see what McQueen actually looks like. I'm gonna watch some of his college games, and then we'll see, man, if he can. We'll see what type of skills that he actually have. It says John. Yeah, John says you can't. King Ribby says you can't watch the full. Yeah, you have to watch the full game from start to finish. Yep, yep, yep. Hold on, Jonathan. 1 second here. I can get kicked off over here. All right, so let's see here. Let's see. Um, yeah, Harleman is. Harlem is really a Knicks fan, man. That's what he really is. He's not a Nets fan, at all. All right, so we're waiting for Jonathan to get back up in here, man. He says BKNY hoops. You know what Jonathan thinks about Claxton's performance last night? I mean, it was good, right? But they didn't win the game. So, nobody goes out there and says, yo, I scored 30-something points and brags about that. And you didn't really win or anything like that. I mean, that's not something I actually do, though. But, I mean, we'll see if Claxton can actually be. I mean, it was against the Milwaukee Bucks. And, I don't know. Sometimes, they'll try to focus on other players and say, hey, Claxton, you go out there and you try to beat us. I mean, it was Brooke Lopez. All right, hold on. Let me get Jonathan in here. Yeah, man. I hear you.
Whew. Okay. But what
So,
did Claude say?
uh, he says you gonna trash Claxton's game.
No, listen, I was on Gary's Nothing But Net show and I gave Claxton compliments. I thought this is the assertive Claxton you want to see. He was building off the Pacers game. But at the end of the day, this is one Claxton performance in 24 games. You should have seen this already, like him being near 20 points this season because we have not a lot of offensive pieces to this team. So if Claxton's just giving you this one, then it's just a one off. But if Claxton could do this for 5 or 6 more games, maybe starts changing the narrative that he can be more assertive, that he can, take the ball more in his hands and be more of an offensive guy. I mean, he showed against the Bucks that if you find him opportunities, and not a lot of people can guard that when he's near the rim trying to dunk on people. So maybe they found something in the other game, but we got to see more. Like Claxton should be taking mid-range shots, 3-point shots. He should be going to the rim against guys like Lopez on a consistent basis. This is just one game of him reaching his full level of what he could do on a consistent basis. Can we see it for like 10 to
Well,
12 more games?
you're seeing like flashes of it in college.
Yeah. Like why we
Oh,
gotta see flashes? This should be the year where there's no more flashes. We should already had a few 20-point games already. This is his first 20-point game of the season, right, BK? For
yeah,
Claxton?
yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah.
Come on, let's be honest. He's done this against Giannis and Lopez in the past, but it's wild that he plays lesser to other competition. Let's remember Zach Edey, what he did to Claxton at the beginning of the season, 25-12. A rookie did that to Claxton. Like, I understand Edey's a big dude, but Claxton, you can't play down your competition. You can't just do well against some of the best players. You got to do it against all your competition. And I think that's been the most frustrating thing about Claxton is he's not always locked in on every game.
I mean, it depends. They got to get him the ball, man. He's playing the five position, so whoever's playing point guard is their duty to actually get Claxton the ball where in spots where he can actually be effective, man. But Brook Lopez, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, there's like a what's it, like a 50-pound size advantage. So this is what I was saying about Claxton. I mean, he could use that 215 pounds to his advantage on offense, man. And if he can, like you just said, get a jump shot, he could space guys out. He could put the ball on the floor. As long as he just like surveys the floor first. I mean, that's something I saw him not just rushing. He was, looking to see where the help was
Nah,
coming from.
he
So
showed killer instinct yesterday when he threw the ball up in the air, then he went to the rim and he bounced it in. Like that type of killer instinct from Claxton, you wish you could see every game because it shows that he wants to score any way possible. And it's unfortunate that we've seen so little of it. But I hope that this is now a spark for Claxton to go on a little run here during this next month and a half. Before the deadline really starts coming into focus because I think his future still is in a lot of doubt. I think defensively he helps another team a lot more than he's helping us right now, unless he just starts taking over some games on offense and then maybe saying, you know what, I need to see more from Claxton before I can say he's all in on us because so far this season there's been games where it doesn't look like he's all in on this team and people want to say the injuries. The injuries and skill set are two different things, and Claxton hasn't worked on his skill set as well as we thought he should.
oh, you hear that, Harlem? See, JR is actually saying Claxton has never been consistent offensively, so that performance against Milwaukee was nothing to believe in. Yeah, Harlem. Yeah, JR,
Yeah,
check.
and it's wild. Imagine saying that this guy at 25, what he's doing is an anomaly right now, and we can't just say, hey, this was a great performance from Claxton, one of the big uprising bigs in the league. Unfortunately, this season, due to some of his own, the emotional foul ejections, the 1 to 2 point games, the 8 point games, like he kind of did it to himself a little bit there. But maybe this is something that's going to start a spark, but you got to see more from him right now. This is just a one off right now.
Yeah, most definitely, man. And so, how come? Well, what was the question? Because you had kind of a contradiction right there, Jonathan.
Where did I have a contradiction?
I was it was something you said about a couple of minutes ago, and I just totally actually forgot it, man. Um, but yeah, again, so you want to like trade all the veterans and hoping that guys like Keon Johnson can morph into like let's say a B player.
I still don't know what Johnson's full ceiling is. This is a good way to call him. You call him a floater. He does roles that you need right now for him to do, even though he's not probably great at them, but he's willing to show up and do those certain roles for Jordy. So I think that's his ceiling right now. But it seems Jordy is trusting him, so maybe this will build confidence with Keon, and maybe we'll have one game where he just wakes up out of nowhere. He has the vertical, like you always keep talking about, but it's how he utilizes that to his advantage. I think you haven't seen Keon ever really get to do that because teams don't trust him right now. But Jordy seems like the first coach that's actually willing to trust Keon to actually play big minutes. So we'll see. We'll see if this maybe does something with his transformation process as he gets more minutes.
Now, Sean Marks actually did say, "Let the chips fall where they may be." Oh, I didn't even put this in here. Yeah, yeah, he's going to like. I mean, if they get the number one pick or the number three pick, they get it. If they don't, they don't. I mean, I don't think it's something that he actually has any type of control over. I don't know if you remember him actually saying that.
Yeah, well, listen, luck and fortune do play some roles here, but your record, the math, how you get to your record, does play a certain part as well. And yeah, I think the Nets have overdone expectations to win 10 games based off the talent we had. Give Coach Short all the credit in the world. He's playing 3D chess right now. He's like a sixth man on a 5 man rotation, telling everybody what to do, and for the most part, they're doing exactly what he wants. So good for Jordy. But now it's like you got the vets' values up. Now it's time to do business. The 7-15 is like 5 days away. Like you got to this point. Okay, now it's how can we position ourselves to get a draft pick? This is what the second half of the season is all about. How can you position yourself? You already got through the first half almost, which is get the vets' value up, try to build a culture, a program. I feel like we've accomplished those things somewhat already. Now it's about the main prize, getting a top pick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not guaranteed though, Jonathan. Even if you have like the worst, I mean, the odds are better. I agree, but it's not guaranteed. What is guaranteed is what's actually in front of you, though. That's the thing. That's what's actually guaranteed.
Right, and I will say this: if the Nets are around the 11th or 12th seed, I think that gives you a chance at getting an Ace or Harper because, like you said, the bottom record isn't guaranteed a pick. You could get the fifth pick, you being a worse record. So the fact the Nets are on the worst record, that might be a good thing for us right now because we probably weren't going to get the first pick if we had the worst record this season. So maybe we've already improved our luck just off of that. But you got to be in that perfect middle tier ground right now. We can't be 8th seed because we're not getting anything. So if we're 11 or 12, I think we have a great crack at getting Ace or Harper right now. I really do.
Yeah, you're actually offending the old man, Claude. Man, he wants to win. He doesn't like what you have to say, man.
But here's the thing though. I don't think Claude understands this though. Strategy plays a part in this. I know we all have pride and egos. We want to win no matter what. We've all been a competitor at one point in our lives. I understand that fully, but studying the game a lot more in the last few years, I've come to understand that strategy plays an important part here. It's not just about trying to win every season for the sake of trying to win. We did that during the 2017, 2018 era when we had D'Lo, Harris, and Levert and all those guys because that was fun, right? It was a fun run. We had no control of our picks. We had no picks. Now you have your picks. You actually have control a little bit. And what you do with that control is how you set yourself up for the next 2 years. So we can't botch that up, especially when we have a little power now. Like, I don't think winning should apply to that. When you have a chance to win even more down the road, than just try to compete right now for
So
not
it
much.
says Dennis Schroeder is currently valued at 2 second round picks, right? I mean, so hold on. I think I just lost the damn thing here. Hold on. Oh, we got Gary on the scene here. What's going on, Gary? How you doing, man?
Hey,
What
Gary.
Hey, what up, Jonathan?
So it says, where was the damn article at, man? Fuck. It says that Dennis Schroeder is actually valued at here we go. Yeah, he's valued at 2 second round picks, right? But his production is definitely way more valuable than 2 second round picks. And Johnson is worth 1 second round pick, according to a lot of general managers out there. I mean, we may think it's actually more, but hold on, let me get to Gary for a second, man. I mean,
Mhm.
are you ready to admit that you were wrong about Cam Johnson, man? Does he still suck?
All right. What was I wrong about?
He said he sucks.
Yeah. I mean, he's an NBA player, sure, and he
No,
shot
we're
the
talking
ball.
about NBA. I mean, I know he'll bust
Let,
our
let,
ass.
let me let, let me
I'm
let
just
me let
saying.
me let me let me address what you're saying. Right. He's hitting more shots than he hit last year. Besides that, are his rebounding numbers up? Are his assist numbers up? Are his drives up? Are his points in the paint up? Are his free throw attempts up? Or any of those things up?
His role is to actually go out there and space the floor. That's his role. He's getting paid to shoot the basketball, right? Provide spacing. That's his role.
So no, right? So none of those things I mentioned were up.
They're not asking him to do any of that. They asked him to go out there and space the floor.
All right, then he sucks, right? If that's all he can do, then he sucks.
Oh,
But I
Like
think
his defense isn't good. He can't rebound. He can't finish at the rim. He can't handle the ball. He can't pass the ball. I mean, that's not a good basketball player. He's a good shooter, but that's not a good. This is the same reason why I didn't like Joe Harris. He's not a good basketball player.
well, Cam Johnson is definitely better than Joe Harris.
I don't think so. He has a bigger role because Joe Harris, who's a better? Okay, hang on. Who's a better 3-point shooter? Harris
Nah,
or
Joe
Cam?
Harris is.
Okay, and you just acknowledged that
That's about it, though.
Hang on. You just acknowledged Cam Johnson can't do anything besides 3-point shooting, and Joe Harris.
Nah.
You just said that. You
I
said he's not asked to
said
rebound. He's not asked to
getting
handle the ball.
paid.
He's not asked to
He's
defend.
getting paid to actually shoot the basketball, not carry a team. He's there to play a role.
Right.
That's
So
But
he
but
can't
BK,
rebound. He can't handle the ball. He can't finish at the rim. He can't. He can't do all of these things. The only thing he can do is shoot threes, and Joe Harris shoots threes better. So how's he better than Joe
all
Harris?
right. Let me pull this up on screen here because
listen,
You're
I
gonna
think
show
I
him dunking on Embiid. I know. I get.
I
Okay, here
know
you
we
go.
don't
All
want to
right.
see that again. We always say, but listen, I think Jordy has done a fantastic job with utilizing Johnson's strengths and tell him to work on the things that people called him out on. Now he's playing what he was supposed to be playing like 3-4 years ago, but now it's like if this is the best his value is ever going to be, you have to cash it in. You'd be a
yeah,
fool to
but
keep Johnson right
you're only
now.
getting a first round pick. If you were getting a Rudy Gobert type haul, I'm like, all right, yeah. I mean, but for a first round pick, I mean, and
BK, you might be able to get a second first from another team. Look at a team like the Kings, who need a piece like a Johnson. A team like the Warriors, who are trying to look for stars. I don't think you're going to find a star this year. You look at OKC, a team who has a diamond mine of assets, and they feel like Johnson's that last piece to balance out their defensive pieces with his offense. They might be willing to give you 2 picks for him, too. So
oh
there
yeah,
are
I
a
mean,
few
sure,
teams out
I
there
give
that
you
would
2 picks,
see
but
that.
when you just tell me a first round pick, and then I mean in the draft, I'm getting like a player unknown, right? And I got something that's known here. All right, so Gary, his 3-point shooting is actually better this year, right?
We acknowledge that. Yep, he's hitting more
His
threes.
assist numbers. Let's go look it up. Let me see. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, actually, his assist numbers were better last year.
Well,
It
because
went
he's
down.
playing more minutes. So I mean, they're up because he's playing more minutes. That's it. His rebounds are actually down because he's playing more minutes. He doesn't. This is not a good basketball player here. Like this is a good shooter. I give you that. It's a shooter. But it's like saying Sam Howes is a good basketball player. It's like, no, he's not.
Well, no, listen, dude. I'm not comparing him to no damn Jason Tatum or anything like that. I'm saying in terms of being a role player. I'm not
Who
saying, oh, I
On
don't want
another
them to
team,
draft
he's a good role
Flag
player right now.
or
I think
anybody.
we're agreeing, all right? Like, who would you compare him to in the NBA?
Well, as a role player, I mean, all right. Do you think he's better than Mikal Bridges?
No.
Really?
Yeah,
I think
Ribby, I know what you're
I
supposed to
think
say,
I
Ribby, but
think
that's a
Bridges is
false
better.
statement. That's a false statement, Ribby. Cam Johnson has no value. Get out of you. You don't obviously
No,
watch
he's
him play
got
at all.
value, just like Nick Claxton has value, and that's why we should trade him. Someone else is willing to
His
take him.
value.
Get rid of him.
You got to look at the collective. Listen,
Wait,
forget what you get. Wait,
hold
BK. Forget what you could get solo for these guys. Look at what you could get together for all these guys. You add up the assets, when it's all said and done, the Nets are probably going to have maybe a good chunk of extra pieces to work with and building out the rest of these players on the team. So it's not. Don't just look at the solo value. Look at what you get collectively when it's all said and done. That might be better than what anybody thought you'd get for all these pieces. Like you got to look at that too.
round picks for Schroeder. Wow. Ooh, wow.
You might get 4 second round picks for Shooter if that's the highest thing you could get for him,
Who
which is
cares
more
about second round
than what
pick?
people originally had
None
for
of
him.
those guys never play. Who cares?
BK, let me ask you a question. Who's played better this year, Schroeder or Cam Johnson?
I think both has played extremely well, man. I don't know if there's who. I don't. I don't know. That's a
Okay.
that's a hard question right there. I think both of them has been playing really well. They both
I
had
would
really
have to.
outstanding
I would
seasons.
give the edge slightly to Shooter because he
I'd
was a
give it
big
to Schroeder
part
by a
of those
lot
wins.
because
Yeah, by a
he
lot.
handles the ball.
How come Cam Johnson gets the first round pick and Dennis Schroeder gets 2 second round picks?
It's a great question. It's a great.
Now,
I don't have it. Why did Bridges get 6 first round pick? I don't know. I don't know.
unfortunately, when Shooter did that Lakers thing where he didn't take the money, that really hurt his stock with the league, and a lot of teams they wanted to visit him. But they're like, "How can I trust this guy if he doesn't want to work with us with the value we think he's at?" And Shooter's always thought he's worth star money, but I think what's good for him about now is he's finally hit his real ceiling on what he can do. But unfortunately, financially, a lot of teams look at him like, "Hey, I don't have to give up a haul for this guy. Maybe 2 second picks, but the way he's playing." You have to give me 4 second picks for this guy if you want him that badly. Like you can extract a little extra value for Shooter right now. It may not be great, it may not be perfect, but you could get some pieces for Shooter than what you thought you could get like a year ago when he just came to this team. So I think he definitely improved his value, and he's been clutch in a lot of these wins. The Warriors game, we don't win that game without his 34, 35 points when he was going crazy in
Yeah,
that
I
game.
mean, but still, general managers, GMs, still value Cam Johnson over Dennis Schroeder, though.
They also valued Mikal Bridges over like superstar value. Like the Nets got more for
Yeah.
Bridges than they got for Kevin
Well,
Durant.
no,
I
I mean,
can't
listen,
explain this.
he can give you. He averages 17 points a game as a role player without having to be number one guy. I mean, he can score within two
Is that what
dribbles.
Bridges? Is that what Bridges? I think Bridges is a good player. I don't think he's like worth 5 first-round picks. I think he's worth 1 or 2. Honestly, he's worth 1 lottery pick. I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah, we made out like bandits with that deal. Thank you, Jalen Brunson. He was the captain. He called that shot. He said, "Get this guy over here, no matter what," and it was no matter what. So we did good business. We got the picks for it. But like Gary says, his value is probably not worth that in actuality. But the Knicks were so desperate to have this buddy reunion, they were willing to actually say, "Screw the norm. We'll go balls to the walls on that one," and they did. Pause.
BK, if Cam Johnson's not hitting his threes, what's he doing to help you win that game?
well, we're seeing him actually post up a little bit more. I mean, you can say that about a lot of players, man.
Right, and I would say that those aren't good basketball players. That's my point. I would
Yeah,
say those.
yeah.
I would say
I
Klay
mean, you
Thompson is not a
comparing,
good
like I said,
basketball
you're
player anymore.
comparing him to a star player. I'm just saying, I'm comparing him to role players. I mean,
No,
Cam
I'm,
Johnson's a
I'm
role player.
comparing him to current version of Klay Thompson, who I think is a bad basketball player. I'm comparing him to Joe Harris, who I think is a bad basketball player. That's who I'm comparing him to. I'm not asking him to be De'Aaron Fox. I'm not asking him to handle the
When you
ball.
say
And
he's garbage, I mean,
all right,
all right,
look,
he's not
look,
consistent, right? I think you're basing on what you've seen last season, right?
that's a lot of it. Yeah, the first
Yeah,
year.
and
Yeah,
injuries do play a part in basketball. They do. You have an ankle injury, hamstring injury, I mean, back injury. I mean, it's going to limit to like what you can do from an athletic perspective.
he's making $25 million a year. He's paid to be a high
That's
level.
nothing.
He's
Nah,
paid to be a
BK,
high
he's
level
28
contributor.
years old as well. Listen to him. He's 20 years old. He's now playing his best basketball when he's just hit his prime about a year or
All right,
two
so
too
let
late,
me ask you
though.
something, man. Like when they signed Cam Johnson to his contract, I mean, he was just to go. He's supposed to go out there and just really kind of space the floor. You don't think he's outperforming his contract this year?
No,
Value wise,
no.
yes. Is he worth the actual money? Probably not, because Mark's, he likes to overvalue players with money. But you look at his value right now, he's probably one of the most valuable role players in the league right now because you could start him, you could play him off the bench.
Yeah,
He gives you 18, 20 points a night. So that's good value for
yeah.
another team, not for us.
Hang on,
We're
hang on.
wasting his value right now.
Klay Thompson makes $10 million a year less than Cam Johnson, and they do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, but Thompson also had those double leg
He had
surgeries,
some
man.
injuries, man.
That
Yeah,
really hurt his career a
Right,
lot, a
right.
lot.
He's had 2 leg surgeries, and he's playing just as well as Cam Johnson. That's my point about Cam Johnson.
Yeah,
I,
the
I
health
agree.
Cam
I
Johnson.
agree
Wait,
with
situation
wait,
too.
wait, 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 wait. Hold on. Come on. Gary. You know he has Kyrie and Luca there, right?
okay. Yes, he does. He has better pieces around him. So I agree. But his job is the same thing. It's to stand behind the 3-point line and shoot the open 3 when the ball makes it to you, and that's all he
Well, all
can.
right. So a lot of teams can run you off the 3-point line, right? And if your 1-2 dribble pull up game is not really all that, it kind of he has a 1-2 dribble pull up game. He can come off screens, right?
He does,
Um,
and so
yeah,
does Clay.
yeah.
Okay, do you think at this 2024, 2025, Klay Thompson, do you think that's a good basketball player?
No, not really, not right now. You
And
know,
that's what I would say. He's basically the same player as Cam Johnson.
uh,
His value ain't going to get any higher than this. I think Marks has a golden opportunity to get some decent value back from a mini haul. That's the word to describe a mini haul. It's not going to be nothing crazy spectacular, but it's going to be the assets that you can get from right now.
all
But
right. So
Marks can't be like three to
you
four
got you
first
got
for him. You're
you
not going
got
to get that from anybody.
hold on. You
3 to 4.
guys don't think there's any value to a player actually wanting to be here, man? Right?
BK, he's 28 years old. He's got health injury issues. He's playing good right now because Jordy coached him really well this season, but his value's not going to get any better. When he hits 30, Gary, he's going to be worth like what, 2 second-round draft picks at that point? Another screw us moment, right? When,
Well,
when we
again, you're
could
not
have traded for good
asking
value
all you're
now.
You know what, BK? I'm gonna give you this, right? I'm looking at Klay Thompson's numbers. I didn't realize they were this bad. Cam Johnson at this current moment is better
Yeah,
than Klay Thompson.
yeah.
Trade
It's
him
trash.
now.
It's
Like, come on.
trash.
This is the best Johnson is right. You know that he's like one of the top 50 best scorers in the league right now? Like, you got to cash that in. He'll never be top 50 after this year. I don't believe because he's doing good right now, but
Well, that
that's why you got
depends.
to
If
cash
he's
in.
health. I mean, it's if he's healthy, right, and he doesn't have lower extremity injuries or anything like that. I mean, I don't want to say sky's the limit for him, but I think he can kind of keep this up, man. He
Clay
can.
Thompson is shooting 36% from three and 39% from the field. I didn't realize it was this bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't fit on Dallas's team. I think that was an odd fit, him with Kyrie
If,
and Luca.
if you can't fit as a 3-and-D wing on that team with Kai and Luca, what all you have to do is stand outside and wait for the ball to find you. You can't fit in anywhere, right? He's not asked to do anything. He's just asked to stand there and hit an open three, and he
Right,
can't
but
do
Gary,
that.
for somebody what Clay's been through, something that's supposed to be so simple like that, it's a mind block for him right now. He's kind of just shut down since last season, unfortunately. And it's sad that players regress when they get older, but this is also a part of life too. Not every player is going to be playing like a superstar the rest of their lives. These are the growing pains. Like if
But
Clay can get
it's not
himself
that he's
out of
not
this,
playing
good
like a.
for.
It's not like he's not playing like a superstar, Jonathan. You can find a guy that can shoot 36% from three who can offer you more than Clay Thompson. And I
And
love
that's
Clay.
and that's Cam Johnson right now, and that's why Mark should have teams
Clay
bidding. I look at OKC and the Magic. They are the two best teams right now where you can get close to what you want to get for Johnson. It's nothing spectacular, but you could get draft capital, maybe a prospect that one of those two teams aren't using right now. That's what you should get and go for it. If he holds out for anything more than that, you're delusional with Cam Johnson at that point. Like nobody's gonna buy that snake oil at that point.
Do you think BK? Do you think Cam Johnson is gonna stay this hot throughout the season?
Nah, he's a role player. He's gonna have his ups and downs.
Exactly.
If he can give me like, let's say out of 82 games, if he can give me like half of what he's actually doing, that's a win-win. That's a win-win right there for me. He's
But
not
then
Jason Tatum. He's not Jalen Brown or anything like that. He's not paid to do that. He's not getting paid $300 million on 4 or 5 years. He's getting paid as a role player to actually go out there and space the floor, man. And like I said, the thing I like about him is that he just, he can give you some on-ball creation, right? A little bit, not great at it, but he's, depending on the matchup. Let's say Brook Lopez gets switched on to him. Well, he's gonna look like Jason Tatum.
who would you rather have, Cam Johnson or Herb Jones?
uh, I guess Herb Jones for the defense, right? Yeah, yeah.
He makes $13.5 million a year. Cam Johnson makes almost. I'm not saying that. I know I say Cam Johnson sucks all the time. I know I say that pretty much every show. He doesn't suck. He has value on an NBA team. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is for $25 million a year, he sucks. You get. There's no reason to pay a guy like that $25 million a year. That's my problem. The contract. If he was making $13 million a year, like Dorian Finney-Smith,
Well,
I'd say, all right,
let's say
that's
if he was,
fine.
let's say if he was on the Lakers, right? And you take out Austin Reeves and put Cam Johnson in, are they better?
Slightly, I'm not going to say it's
Austin
crazy,
Reeves
but
is slightly better than Cam Johnson. It wouldn't.
they,
It might. How?
No, I mean
Like
they're
to
better
PK's
with.
point, how many more wins are you gonna have if you have Austin Reeves over Cam Johnson? Like
You,
one.
you know what it is? You're
That's
looking at the
coming off
wrong
Austin
position.
Reeves.
BK, you're looking at the wrong position. Their center position on their team is so damn bad. Davis doesn't want to be a center. You got Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood. If that's what they're stuck with, they're going to be a first round exit very quickly or a play-in exit. Like that's more of a need for them than a Cam Johnson. I wouldn't want to trade Johnson
I
to the
don't think Claxton
Lakers because
helps
they're
that
going to try to
situation
undersell
though.
us on him. What?
I don't think Claxton helps that situation though. I
Well,
mean,
how? You don't think Claxton and Davis is not a bad combination? One guy does defense, rebound, the other scores 20, 30 points a night. It's not a bad combination.
nah,
And you could do
I
quick
think
transition offense with Claxton. Imagine LeBron James throwing football dunks to Claxton at one end of the rim to the other. Like, that
nah,
would be exciting. You save his legs.
he would cause a lot of spacing issues, man. Like it would make it harder for AD to operate with him on the floor, man. You
I
know.
don't. I don't think so, BK. I listen. Yeah, might be some little problems there, but that's why you still have Reeves on your teams. He could give you 3-point shots. I don't know about Deal. I think I'm looking to get
He's
off
only
of
shooting
him.
36% from 35% from three this year.
It's what they're stuck with, unfortunately. I don't think they're going to trade Reeves, but Claxton does give them better defense than what they got right now. Their defense is abysmal.
You
I
Davis is
don't
not
get
going to
like
carry
I
that
don't
team.
get the Austin Reeves is a good defender argument. I don't like I don't see that at all.
he
Yeah,
is
he's
or he's
not.
not.
He's
He's
not. I mean,
not.
I don't think he's a traffic cone, but I don't think like
He is a
Austin Reeves.
traffic cone.
I don't know that he's that. You
What?
think he's that bad of a defensive player?
Yes.
Like he can't guard anybody?
Yes.
All right. Maybe. I mean, I don't see that. I mean, he's not a good defensive player,
It's
right?
a
But I don't see
horrible,
him getting cooked every night.
horrible defensive player, man. That's one of the problems. A guy like Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell. I mean, you have like Ant-Man or Jalen Brown. Like you have to send help immediately, or those guys are going like 19 for 22 from the field, like 39 points, 19 for 22 on field goal attempts. Man, they'll have the best careers of the night on Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell. They're not like
The problem with D'Lo is that there's just no effort on defense, and he did this with the Nets, and
he
Kenny
doesn't
would
have.
pull him.
Listen,
Right.
There's no effort on defense.
If you're guarding Shaq, right? You know, you can have all the effort you want. You just don't have the
D'Lo is 6'4" with a 6'10" wingspan.
he's
He
not
can
physical
guard.
enough.
I'm not saying he can guard John Morant, but he can guard a 3-and-D wing with a 6'10"
With
wingspan.
his
He
skills,
can
yeah, but he's
he
not
can
guarding.
guard Derek White.
He's
Like he
not
can
guarding.
guard guys like that, but he
He's
just
not
chooses
guarding
not
the
to.
top echelon players in the league. He's just not
But
going.
he's not asked to, right? But at
He
6'4" with
got
a
to play
6'10"
defense, man.
wingspan,
What is this?
there's no effort from D'Lo, and like there's just no effort from him.
Listen, at the end of the day, I just think the Lakers, you have to be willing to put your draft assets on the table. This is the win with LeBron now, or you're never going to win. Like, if they're not willing to offer assets for a Johnson, a Doe, or a Claxton, we don't do any business with them. Like, we're not going to help them and take D'Lo for free. Like, if that's their mindset, you could get whatever chop shop parts you want from anybody else but us. So, unless the Lakers want to play big boy ball with us, I don't see us doing business right now. But and it could change if they're willing to actually give us some cheddar for our vets. So we'll see what happens there.
Oh, Dennis, you're talking about Austin Reeves as a fifth or sixth option. Well, only thing I like about Austin Reeves is that he gives you some playmaking. You know, like that. That's what I do like about him.
He can finish at the
Other
rim
than
too.
that, other than that,
He's not a bad player. He's all
garbage.
right. You think he's garbage?
It's trash, man. He
Well,
went
here's
undrafted for a
here's
reason,
here's
man.
a good question. Here's a good question. Who's better, Austin Reeves or that six man from the Celtics, Peyton Pritchard? Who's better
Oh,
between the
Peyton,
two of
Peyton
them right now?
Pritchard. Peyton
Peyton Pritchard.
Pritchard. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pritchard's a good ball player,
That's
man.
very interesting, and he's a sixth man. Like,
Peyton
and his
Pritchard's
skill has
good.
got
I mean, he's
offensively he's got
limited
much
by his
better.
height, but he's a good ball. I would take him over Shooter.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Like that's no reason why we don't need an Austin Reeves. If you have six men that are better than him, like listen, if Austin Reeves is on a different team right now, that's not LeBron James, would everybody really be talking about the guy? I don't think so.
Peyton Pritchard can play D too. Like people think he can't because he's a 6'1" white kid. He can D up. Like he can guard.
I love me some Peyton Pritchard.
Peyton Pritchard's a good ball player.
He's a better defender than Austin Reeves. You know,
I would
so,
agree with that. If you gave me a choice between one or the other, I would take Peyton Pritchard.
yeah, he's a cone, man. He's a cone. Austin Reeves is a cone, man. He's hurting that team. You're never gonna win. The Lakers are never gonna win with Austin Reeves starting, or he just hurts them defensively too much, man.
Well,
And yeah, go ahead.
Well, here's a good question, Gary, since you came on. We're getting Clowney back. We got Dayron back, and Simmons, he's doing what he's doing on the bench. Bogdanovich, I think they said on Nets Kingdom he's supposed to make his debut sometimes this month. Those are four guys on your bench with a Wilson and a Zaire already trying to get minutes. You're going to have a bunch there. You're going to have to start making moves at that point. Like right now, who do you want off this bench right now, and who you want to keep? Because we've had a lot of discussions about this.
I want to buy out Simmons, and I want to buy out. Well, I want to play bogey for a while. Just see if you can, like, by the deadline, see if you can get a second round pick from him. He got traded for some value last year. He did. Like, I don't know. Maybe he can go in. Maybe he can be a scorer. Maybe I don't know. But he's got to go by the deadline. And then I would trade Cam and Doe. I mean, I would want all the veterans to go. I don't think any of them. You could argue, and BK makes the argument that Cam Johnson could have a spot on this team. I don't really want him here. But if you can't get anything good, if you can't get a first for him, why not just keep him?
Well, worst case scenario, if they're not offering any first from, of course you'd have to keep it at that point. But I think a team will be pressured. I think a lot of these teams that are near the first apron in new CBA are going to feel the pressure because if you're not you're not making winning moves, you pay more financial penalties. So I think a lot more teams are going to be more willing as you get close to the deadline to slightly up their offers for Johnson. That's where Marks needs to capitalize. Like I understand some of these NBA people want to lowball the offers for our guys, but all it takes is one team to give you a little piece there and a little piece there to make something happen. So I think you'll see the price start to go up and some teams start to raise their prices on certain things. So we can expect to see that. But the thing is, though, Gary, is if you play Bogdanovich, who's not going to play a lot of minutes? Between Day'Ron Sharpe and Clowney, Clowney's a building block of our future, but it seems like Day'Ron might be the odd man out, especially if you got Bogey playing, Clowney playing, and Simmons, who is kind of like a roadblock to Day'Ron really being a core piece of our bench. So
Yeah,
what do you do in that situation?
I think we have to get Day'Ron and Clowney on the court as much as possible. Get them playing together because I think that could be something you can build around because they can both
What?
stretch out.
Whoa. What? Stop.
I'm not saying they're going to be all stars. I'm saying they both have value, and those can be two pieces that you have for a long time.
Isn't there better centers coming out in the draft in the 25 draft? Come
Okay,
on, man.
I mean, how many are you going to be able to draft? How many?
You got 4 first-round picks, man. I mean,
Okay, so
come on, McQueen. I think those guys are better than Day'Ron and Clowney.
those guys are going in the top 10. You can't pick them.
Hey, Clowney? You already want to get rid of Clowney, BK? Come on.
Yeah, I don't like.
And there's better players, man. I tell you, listen, if you go out
Clowney
there,
added 20 pounds of muscle this summer. His three-point shot was finally starting to come to the surface, and you're starting to show you can get to the free throw line before he got hurt.
the way you guys talk about it is like these guys are gonna be all stars or something like
Who-
that.
We
no
didn't
one said
say
that.
that. Who
No one
said
said
that?
that.
They're progress players. They're just getting their development truly started. We can't just because we like what they're doing doesn't mean we think they're going to be superstars all of a sudden. But we like their progress. That should account for something.
You gotta develop in the off season. You don't develop.
Okay, Gary, can you explain why you have to develop in the season? You keep talking about off-season development. You have to show the results when it really matters in season, and you do develop in season too.
Gary, you made a point when I cursed out Harlem the other day, man. Right? You said they didn't really want you shooting the ball, right?
Yeah.
Your brothers.
Yeah.
You don't do that in a game, man. You work on your jump shot, outside of a game, like practice shooting. Then you come and shoot. You don't shoot and say, "Oh, I'm gonna work on my 3-point shot," and you can't
During
shoot.
the game, yeah.
It's crazy, man. Like I don't see Noah Clowney or Day'Ron like turning into like high end. I mean, they're decent role players, right?
That's what we're talking about, though.
Yeah, they're decent role players, but but to Gary's point, you need to keep Day'Ron because he's an insurance policy. You can't just let Day'Ron go if we trade Claxton and then say, "Oh, we're gonna get Derek Queen." There's no like guarantee you'll get him. So imagine we move our picks to get a crack at him, we just miss him. Oh, we let Day'Ron go. Who's gonna be our backup center or potential starting center? Like you need Day'Ron for insurance if you decide to keep him over Claxton, which is a smart move on our part.
If I said Andre Drummond could shoot threes at a 33% clip, a 35% clip, is that a good basketball player?
He's not a good 3-point shooter.
If Andre Drummond could shoot threes at a 34% clip,
for him at this stage of his career, that's good. Yeah,
okay,
I would take.
Is that a good basketball player?
No.
But I don't understand. Okay, we just have a difference. Yes, I think it's not an all-star. It's not one of the best players.
No, for him, I'm saying for Andre Drummond, that's good. 34% for 3 is actually pretty decent.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It's great, but it's
that
decent.
player I'm describing is what Day'Ron Sharpe could be.
Right. We both agree Day'Ron has a Drummond type, a prototype skill set in him if he's developed a lot more. He showed you last season he could get career highs and everything and get better. Why not see what he can do more if he's not afraid to take the three?
All right. We got to see him play like 30-something minutes a game, though, man. We only see very...
That's what I'm saying. That's why Claxton's got to go. You can't play Claxton.
Claxton, Johnson, Dennis, Stowe. That's why we keep saying the vets got to go, BK, because you're never going to see Day'Ron develop.
hold
or
on.
these other guys.
There is some value in Claxton in terms of like him being able to like switch on to guards and disrupt. Not that Claxton could shut a guard down, but he can like
He
have
can
a
switch with
guard
them.
go to a
Yeah.
second option or third option where Dayron. I mean, if guards just want to drive to the rim, they can do it, and there's not much that Day can actually do to deter that. Where Claxton he could make guards work harder. Where Dayron is just like you gotta send help, and it's gonna leave shooters wide open.
When you're playing pickup and you're playing against a D1 guy who's like 25 and can jump out of the building, and you switch on him, and you basically decide, okay, I'm gonna foul him, like, and if he calls it, he calls it, like that's just what I'm gonna do. Nick Claxton doesn't have to do that. He can stick with a guard. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say he's gonna shut down, Jaylen Brown. Obviously he's not, but he on a switch, he can stay with the guard for a while. He doesn't have to foul the guy or get cooked, right? Like he can stay with them.
Yeah, he makes them work harder. Like
exactly.
If he gets switched on to Kyrie, he forces Kyrie to go into a second option or a third option. I mean, they still gonna make it because they're just that good, But nobody wants to have to go into a bag of tricks if they don't have to go into a bag of tricks. It's just easier that way. It's more efficient that way. Just to go like you have a first option, get to the rim, lay the ball up, or dunk it. But with Claxton, like again, he'll make them work for those 2 points. At Dayron, that's what I'm saying. We don't know. We got to see him start, right, and we got to see what happens.
Look what Gerard just wrote, BK. Put up Gerard's comment because I think that kind of shows a good dichotomy between Claxton and Dayron right now. He just put a comment in.
Let me find it. Let me see. Hold on.
Yes, it's the latest one.
Dayron's our bully boy. Well, that's the problem with Dayron. Dayron doesn't play with that much force.
Yes, he does. He can rebound the ball a lot better than Claxton. Well, Claxton's a great rebounder right now, but if you talk about what Dayron does with rebounding, it's a whole different special level
I'm
because
talking about scoring, dude. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Dennis Milton says I didn't acknowledge him. You put that. What are you saying? BK didn't acknowledge. Yeah, he put the stank on me. What are you talking about? Wait, Dennis Milton. There's so many comments here. I'm trying to. Let me see. I'll find the comments, man. Hold on. Let me see what he's saying. I take the stink out of my mouth. I didn't say Reeves. Oh, I don't know. No, we know Cam Johnson's a better player than Reeves, though. We know that already. Anybody that thinks that Austin Reeves is better than Cam Johnson is just smoking.
I don't know what is Cam Johnson a good defensive player?
He's better than Reeves.
Is he a good defensive player?
He's decent.
He's really not though. Like, is he good at guarding wings or is he good at guarding like power forwards? Like, what's he good at guarding?
Again, man, these guys are so skilled, man. I think he's decent. He's known for a 3-and-D guy. The same thing with Mikal Bridges. Like, you look at Mikal Bridges when those guys were on Phoenix. Like, Mikal Bridges was an outstanding defender, man. I mean, not that he's, like I said, nobody's holding anybody to 0 points, Gary.
I agree.
Right?
Offense beats defense. Good offense beats good defense. You hear that all the time. I agree.
If a player averages 16, right, we want him to work for those 16 points. We don't want to have him go like with Gary Trent Jr. He went for 12 shot attempts and scored 25, right? We don't want to see that. That's not playing any defense right there.
But like what I'm talking about good defense is Zaire Williams, where he absolutely hounds you, right? And if you score on him, you earned every bit of it, right? Okay.
Yeah, but you lose that in offense. You still got to put the basketball in the. I guess you still got to put the ball in the hole. And Zaire is very limited when it comes to that.
Right, that's why when we had that debate and you said who would I rather have on the court, and I said current versions of each. I guess I'd still rather have Cam Johnson because, like you said, offense is more important than defense, and I agree with you, right? Like you can't leave Cam Johnson open in the corner.
I mean,
you can leave Zaire open in the corner. He'll probably miss it.
Advent of basketball, man, just good offense triumphs good defense any day.
You think so? Back in the '90s, you think that was true? Like where you could foul the hell out of people.
Nobody can stop MJ, right? He was a superior offensive player.
That's true, but the games were like 87 to 85. That means defense was winning. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, you didn't have the shooters like you did now, right?
That's true.
It was like,
and Yeah, and that's what Johnson has is the scoring value. But if you look at his defensive side, it's lucky that he's on a team with a lot of different defender type guys because his defense has been so few in between. I know he had that block the other game against Giannis. Then he had the 3-point shot. That was great. If Johnson was doing those types of plays where he had a block at the rim and then he just shoots up a three, like people be saying
Yeah,
Johnson's probably one of the best 3 pointers in the league,
he's a
but it's mostly
role
a three
player.
guy. He's mostly a three guy.
He's a role player. He's a role player. Role player. Role player.
BK, he's
Role
a
player.
valuable role player that can help another team potentially
Not
win
a
a title this
star.
year.
Not a star. All right. I mean,
Not a star, but he's a solid role player. You could start him, you could bench him. He gives you 18, 20 points on his best night. So that's good value that you could get back from a team for him. It's just we're kind of wasting him right now. He's already showed you what he can do. Now it's like get the offers in. What was he shooting, Gary? 50% from field goal, 51 from three? That's wild numbers. Like that's not going to get any higher, or like he's not going to shoot 60% from three and field goal
yeah,
range. But
Gerard, you and I mean, Zaire Williams on offense is terrible, man.
listen,
Terrible.
I think some of you guys are very hard on Zaire. I thought defensively he's shown you a lot of tenacity this year.
Oh man.
He had some scoring games too. Remember the Nuggets game where he broke out? Remember Memphis, his old team, he had a good scoring game. And Boston, when he was a starter for the first time this season, he had a
Hey
great
man,
scoring night.
listen.
Like
I mean, if you
he's
check
had some moments.
before the season started, I did positive videos on Zaire, right? But there's a reason why Memphis gave up on him, though, man. I mean, if
But
he was
did he ever fit their system? He never really got a fair share. I know he got the first year, right? Right, he was all the first year, but then the 2 years he got injured. He was kind of falling out the rotation. He didn't get like 4 or 5 years to actually grow anything because they had Ja, they had Desmond Bain, and then they made some moves some other guys. So he never really had a role in that team. He actually has a bench role on this team now, and he could start on certain occasions when you have to rest guys. And his defensive hustle's been great. He's been lobbing at the rim a few times too this season. He's been making some layups. He's been making some mid-range shots, and he's worked on the three a bit. The three-point shot's still nowhere where it should be. I give you that. I'll give you that. But he has showed you a little bit more of what he can do when he actually gets
well,
trusted
you got to see
minutes.
if he has a position, right? I mean, he can't play the four, too small, and the three to play the small forward, you need shooting, ball handling, passing. He doesn't have that.
Yeah, but BK, if we're trying to get another draft pick for 2026, I don't mind re-signing Zaire to a fair, cheap deal, and then keeping his contract unless you have to move him down the line for a bigger upgrade. We can do
I
something
don't
like
know,
that
man.
with
You got
him.
6 new players coming to this team potentially next season, man, in the draft. So
No, there's
somebody,
not going to be 6 players. It's probably going to be 2 to 3 at most. It's not going to be six. We're not
you
going to
got
draft the six
four,
players.
you got 6 picks, right? You got 4 in the first round, and then two, I think, two in the second round.
Yeah, but you're probably going to group those late picks, BK, if there's a prospect that the
If
team
you
really
could,
wants.
you think it's easy? It's competition out here, man.
But
And
that strategy, that's what a good GM does. You have a plan in place like
it's
that. If
low
you hit,
scoring.
We ain't got one of those, John. We got Sean Mark. So
I know, and
Right.
everybody keeps saying we got Sean Marks, but you know what? I'm giving the gift here, the key to the city right here. And I hope Marks actually watches this show because I think it would help him out a bit. I think it really would because I'm giving you facts. I'm not giving you like rubbish or anything like that because the draft is very important this year. And if Marks just goes with I care about culture over top pick, that's horrible strategy. It really is because you actually have your own pick. Do what you can to get the most value for it and then go from there with your other picks. But we'll see. We'll see what
Well, I
happens.
mean, listen. If I was Sean Marks, I would do the same thing. Let the chips fall where they may be, man. I mean, because you can gut the whole roster, right, and still get a number 8 or 9 pick, right? Now you have no veterans. Now you got to go out there and
We
really
got
like.
Shake Milton. We got Shake and Bake Milton. You know, like what he's doing lately. He's been
Yeah,
energized about
I
his
mean,
team.
no, I'm saying you need multiple
Shake
veterans,
and Bake.
one guy.
Yeah, but BK, you also agree with me and Gary now that if Simmons isn't traded at the deadline, just send him home. Let him collect his money. Let us collect the cap space, and let that be the end of it. Because
You gotta get a
he's
point
just
guard
not
to
going to be
replace
there.
him first, man. I'm not gonna
Shake
fire him.
Milton. I got Shake Milton, and if we trade for maybe a point guard in another team that's expiring, they
Man,
could
don't make
play
me
the point
slap the
guard
shit with
position.
Jonathan. Just you said Shake Milton.
Okay, we're rebuilding. I'll take Shake Milton right now if he gets to the top pick after the deadline.
If you
If
get a
he's the
top
one that
pick
you want to
and
keep.
you have no good point guard, you know how bad like Cooper Flag is gonna look, man. And
But if you draft Dylan
AJ,
Harper, boom, there's your solution. There's
yeah,
your
but then
long term
all right, you only
solution.
get one, Jonathan, right? And
BK, at the end of the day, the best case scenario is Schroeder gets traded and Ben gets sent home, and that's it. And then you kind of salvage what you can for the rest of the season. That's it. You don't
Nah,
need a point
like I
guard
said,
to be here the whole season, a legit one.
based on the reputation of like you, Ben Simmons, right? Kawhi Leonard, who is it? You figure you want to get rid of Paul George? I mean, all these guys have reputations and I mean, well, injuries, right? They're not based on their reputations. They're not going to get rid of them like that, man. You know,
But BK,
the only reason I'm watching the NBA.
wasn't that game against the Bucks just super disappointing? Because if he could have given you 4 to 5 points, the Nets probably might inch something
Yeah,
out there
but
towards the
Giannis
end.
is
But
not
he did
easy to score.
nothing.
Giannis is not easy to score, man. What you think? Giannis is a trash defender? Giannis is an
BK,
excellent
Ben
defender.
Simmons didn't even try to score at one
Yeah,
point at all. Gary,
that's
you saw that game? I didn't even think he went to the rim once
yeah,
that
Giannis.
whole
Yeah,
game.
Giannis is he's just he's gonna be putting up a lot of bricks, man, trying to score against Giannis.
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't make
BK, it goes to show you that Simmons is just a guy that likes to throw out assist points and get rebounds. That's it. It
if
gives you
you're a
defense
all right, if you're a
sometimes.
6'2" guard and you're trying to play against, it's like all right. Picture it like this, right? You're a 6'2" guard, right? And you're trying to bang with Joel Embiid, under the rim. You might as well just let Joel Embiid is just going to win, right? Like Ben Simmons is not going to score on Giannis. If he tries to go 1-on-1 with Giannis, I mean, he's going to have like 6 points on 18, 19 field goal attempts. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but you could have took those points from Ben Simmons. It's better than a zero and not impacting the team
No,
at all.
I'm
Yes, they only
saying,
had
I
like.
mean, it's
But BK, what about the assists and rebounds? He wasn't even pushing tempo yet. Like he was just on the court to be on the court, and that's
I don't
not
watch the
helping
game or anything like
anything.
that. I gotta watch it because the last
Gary, tell BK about what Simmons did the other night, because just give him the full pictures. I'm trying to give the full picture what he did.
Ben Simmons' stat line the other day? Is that what you
Yeah,
yeah 0
yeah.
points. Yeah.
0 points, 0 or 0 from the floor, 3 rebounds, two turnovers, two personal fouls. That in 17 minutes.
He didn't take one attempt. He didn't even take an
He
attempt.
didn't
When you're
take
not
a
even taking an
shot
attempt,
in 17
yeah.
minutes.
Was Giannis
What did
guarding him?
Jordan?
Because the last game, Giannis was strictly on him the whole game. And when Ben was out there, Giannis was out there. The last time he played, not this game, the last time. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense trying to score on Giannis, man. That's like
But
you trying
BK
to.
tried scoring against anybody on that team. He didn't make one
Here's
attempt.
another thing. You go and let's say you play in a 5-on-5 and you get assigned and Shaq is under the rim. Just pass the damn ball, man. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, Gary, imagine telling a
I,
$40
I
million
got it right
player.
here.
Giannis
It
can
was
play
it was
defense, man. Giannis is good.
18 minutes, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, 0 points, 0 for 0 from the floor.
Hey,
He
you
can't
know
even
what?
get one putback.
$40 million to
One
take
putback.
no
He's 6 foot
shot.
He's
10.
that. Listen, he's following the game plan. He wants to
Game
tank.
plan? What game plan? He didn't do anything. How can you follow a game plan when you didn't even back
If he
the
would have had a
game?
good game, if we'd have had 12 or 13 points and they won the game, Jonathan, you would be spazzing out. He said, "Oh,
Oh,
you
so
got
you're
like
happy now that your best player is completely playing like crap when he's just playing like crap. It's not. There's no injury in this last game. It was
Nah,
he
you know
chose
what?
to not be part of the game.
Right now, I'm dealing with lower back spasms. Right
Oh,
now,
BK, I'm sorry you have back
I'm not
issues,
going
but
to say anything
Simmons, you
bad
can't
about
give him that excuse right now.
or Nick Claxton, who had back. Who was it? Cam Thomas? No, didn't Claxton have a back injury too?
I
Yeah.
think
So
so.
no more,
Yeah, I
no
think
more.
it's over too. Like he was jumping on the hoop the other day. I think his back is feeling a
Oh
lot better.
man,
What people would like to
that
believe on
yo,
that.
that mine is back spasms. I don't even know how I even hurt my back. Because it was like 2 weeks after I played basketball. It was like I said, "What the hell?" I said, "How?" I could have been. Man, it was painful, man. Painful. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. That's how bad the pain is, and that's only spasms. I mean, Ben Simmons' back injury was like 90 times worse than mine. I mean,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
god.
but BK, we got to pull the plug soon. I mean, how many games we got to the deadline? About 30 more left. I expect maybe by even before the deadline, they might just send Ben Simmons home at that point. Like, if he's just not going to give you much effort, like just so much just effort, you have to let the young guys start playing over him. Like, I know it's crazy to say Tyrese Smart and Tariq Whitehead should be starting over him, but we're rebuilding right now. Simmons isn't helping us win anything right now, so let the young guys get those minutes.
Wait, You said you want them to lose every game.
Yes, but I'd rather those guys grow and develop so it's not a complete detriment. Like I'm just telling this team to be horrible,
Still
fully
gonna lose.
horrible.
It's still gonna
Yeah,
lose.
we're still going to lose, but you know what? Martin and Derek are going to develop.
You
And
just don't
rather
like Ben
that
Simmons, dude.
than Ben Simmons just self imploding every time out on the court. I'd rather watch you. Wouldn't you rather watch Martin and Tariq Whitehead play gritty basketball on the court, get better, grow their roles, than watch Ben Simmons just do this on the court?
I want to see Ben. I want to see Ben with those fancy passes, man. That's what I want to see.
Fancy passes. Then let him go do it
I'm
somewhere
hoping to see
else at
that.
that point.
I'm hoping to see that. I mean, Ben and Cam Thomas is one of the main reasons why I actually watch the Nets, man. You know, it's they're really good players to watch. You know,
What? Ben's really
well,
good to watch.
when Ben is
Every
healthy,
time
no, I'm
me and
saying when
Gary
he's
watch
healthy,
Simmons, we get a migraine. Every
when
time
he's
he gets blocked at the
when he's
rim trying to
healthy,
dunk. Every time he doesn't score against the player he should.
when Ben
Like
is
that's
being Ben.
migraine watching
I
him.
know, I
We
know, I
can't.
get it. But when Ben is being Ben, not this version of Ben. I know.
No, listen. If we had the real version of Ben a few years ago, we wouldn't be saying anything about this guy. I guarantee you that. But this is who we're stuck
I
with,
still
and he's just
criticize
not a
him,
good
man.
player.
Basketball's all about. Uh, yeah, I know, Claude. I know. Uh, yeah, they do get worse when you get old, man. Hopefully, most of it is gone. I still got a little pain left, but when I get up out of this seat, man, I know I'm gonna feel it. Yeah. Um, what was I saying though? I lost my train of thought. No,
Wait,
it was about Ben, I think, right? Yeah.
let's move on from Ben for now. Let's talk about Doe. Like, where's his value right now? Because statistically, he's got the best plus and minus on the
Not
team. He's
much.
shooting
Again, he's an
40% from three.
expiring contract, man. You're not going to get
Right.
much from him
No, he
because
has 1 year left on his contract. He has an option that he could pick up or enter free agent. I think he'll enter free agency if
exactly.
he's unhappy with the team.
Exactly.
But
If he had years left on his contract and he was contributing, but I think last season really scared a lot of teams off, man. It's like, ugh.
yeah, but he's doing well so far. Maybe you can get something decent back for him. I don't know if you can get any first, but maybe get multiple seconds and a young prospect that's not a huge difference maker, but he's young. They're not using him. Maybe he could be an asset to our team. Like, do you guys see any teams that could pull something like that for Doe right now?
I would say more towards the trade deadline. We'll see. You know, I mean, right now it's a tug of war. Like Sean Marks is trying to get as much value back from them from if they do trade Cam Johnson and Dennis Schroeder. But again, Gary, let me ask you real quick. I'm gonna wrap this up in a second, though. Does it make sense to actually really trade all the vets, right? And you don't get the top three, 1 to 3 pick, right? What do you actually think, though, man? I mean, it's a high probability because the mock drafts having a Nets pick at number between 10 and 15.
I mean, the point is to trade those guys sooner rather than later, so that you start losing all your games, and then that pick gets better, right? Like, if the Nets trade all those guys, how are they going to win games? And they'll start losing them, so they won't be picking 10 to 12. They'll be picking in the top 5. That's the plan, right? If you keep these guys, you're probably going to keep winning a bunch of games. You're not going to make the playoffs, but like you said, you're going to be picking around 10 or 12. So, like where you were last year.
But all right. So there's a lot of other teams tanking too, though, right? So it's still a probability that they can actually still, but despite them trading everyone, get rid of Ben Simmons, then Schroeder, all the veterans. It's still I say a 50% probability they still can get a 10 like a 10 to 15 lottery.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
If but only Sean Moss can screw something like this up, and if he does, don't re-sign him. Don't give him a new contract. Say thanks, Sean, for getting our picks back, but bye.
Thank you,
Like
Gerard.
Like, Mark,
it's been there.
to be fair to Mark, what do you want him to do? Hire a bad coach so they lose all their games and get a better pick?
No, listen, I don't even think he expected Jordy to be this good because he usually wants a coach to, I guess, not really be this competent, and Jordy's been more than that. Jordy's been playing 3D chess. But now it's like this is where the GM steps in and moves the pieces around because that's Sean Marks' power. Everybody says Jordy has a say over who stays and who goes. No, he has a say over how the talent competes and how they perform and who he selects to play the minutes that they're given. Other than that, Marks has the power to move the pieces to set us up, like you said, so our record evens out the way it's supposed to, and then you have a shot at a top 5 pick. That's the goal, get top 5. Well, the first goal. Second goal is top 3, which is the ultimate goal. So if Marks doesn't get you there, he's only got himself to blame because you have cards in your hand for the first time in 5 years, and you don't know what to do with them
Other
at that point.
teams are actually tanking too, though, man. I mean, I don't know if Sean Marks has a crystal ball, and I thought all of us, even like other NBA analysts, really thought this team was actually going to be bad, man. Just based on Ben Simmons, but Ben was going to be Ben, right? He wasn't going to have any kind of impact to winning right now. Or we didn't know.
Yeah, well, but
Maybe teams when they play us are kind of taking their foot off the gas, right? And because the Brooklyn Nets are in a position, you don't want to see them get a top draft pick in 25 and 26 and the cap space. They could really put it together, really quickly, depending on how the chips actually falls.
well, that's the thing. Say the worst case scenario happens, you do miss out on this draft on the best prospects, which I don't think we will. I think we'll play our cards right, hopefully. But after that, you still have 2026 draft. You're still armed with over 15 picks at that point. So the Nets have different routes to how to construct this team again. I just think you don't want to rush it to be a championship team based off of just bringing a whole bunch of players together. Like you want to develop something the next 3 years at least and then go for it at that point. But you need to get there, and it starts with capitalizing on this draft, the following draft, and then putting it all together and going from there. But you have to do it. And right now, I think the best thing you could be happy about is that Johnson, Dennis, and Doe all improved their values. Now it's time to get back assets for them and move on. That's about it right now. You already got more than what you're supposed to get this season already. Now it's the business part of the NBA that not a lot of people like, but it has to happen.
Yeah, yeah. And like I say, Anthony, you're right, man. The Sixers are two games back. But again, it's a lot of teams, man. That's gonna be tanking, man.
Nah, BK. If Phil, as long as Philly's out of the lottery, I feel great about our chances. If we're just going head to head with Portland, Utah, and the Wizards, those 3 teams are not going to get the top 3 picks. One of them is going to get asked out and get the fifth or sixth pick. So we have a good shot if we're stuck with those 4 teams. I feel good about
Wait,
those
look,
those
Dennis,
chances.
you talking about me or Jonathan? I think you're probably talking about Jonathan because I'm actually giving Sean. I don't want to blame Sean Marks if they don't get the actual pick because all the analysts, even including myself, I thought the Nets would be bad. Out there.
No, listen, Dennis. Listen, I think Marks got very fortunate with the Knicks package, with getting the Rockets picks back. Let's remember, the Rockets were the team that were keeping tabs with us about wanting to get those Suns picks from us. They could have went to somebody else to make all the deals they want. Instead, they stayed on priority with us. They gave us our 2 picks back. We gave them the Suns picks, and then Captain Brunson wanted Mikal Bridges on his team so badly, told the organization to give him what they have to give him. So Mark's got very fortunate, but now it's like, what can you do with that fortune and start being more strategic? Because let's remember, his trade moves as a whole is not very good. He's made maybe 1 or 2 decent trade moves, but how many bad trade moves has he made? This is the time now for Marks to right those wrongs and actually make decent trades. That starts with these vets and getting some decent assets back. If he gets decent assets back for these vets after the deadline, I'll give Marks a credit and say he did a good job. But it starts with actually making these things happen, so we'll see.
All right, let me wrap this up, man. Good show, good show, good show. Let me get some
Fun
sleep.
show. I'm glad the technology worked. It didn't work last time, so I'm glad it worked this time.
Yeah, I'm gonna still have to email those guys and see what the hell's going on, man. My stomach now. All right. So like, comment, subscribe, share the stream, share the video. When you share, the universe shares back with you. Peace.
Peace.
All right.